Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hey people, welcome back to the ReVitalized podcast. I am your host, Justin Oliver.
I'm your co-host, Elle Sherwood.
And today the episode, pretty freaking awesome.
Very awesome.
Wade Lightheart, he is a world-renowned expert when it comes to all things holistic health, natural health, alternative health, gut health, digestive issues, inflammatory problems, that sort of thing. He's a longtime friend of ours. Him and my dad go way back. He knew me when I was literally like 2-3 feet tall. So he's been around for a while, and he's definitely somebody that you want to learn from, listen to, because he can teach you a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to health. He is, like I said, extremely accomplished. He's a Mr. Universe champion. He's got one of the biggest supplement companies going around today. He's a thoroughbred Canadian. Yeah. I mean, what's not to love?
Shout out to BioOptimizers.
Exactly.
His company.
Exactly. And today we're going over gut health. We're going over Wade's background, his story, how he came to be, who he is, what he's all about, that sort of stuff. So if you're into that kind of thing, please watch all the way to the end. We had quite a bit of technical issues with this one. It took us a long time to edit it into what it is right now. There were some recording issues and some things like that. Anyway,
either way.
The value's there, the info is there, and this is an amazing episode regardless. So if you care about your gut health and you care about your immune system, your longevity, that sort of thing, then you need to watch this one.
Yes. And also remember that your gut health is the core of your health.
Absolutely.
So this is a vital episode for you guys to watch.
Absolutely. That's it. You got it. So, we had to pull this one from the archives, but I think we made it work. It's definitely something special. So watch it all the way to the end. Let us know what you guys thought about it. And make sure to take some notes, because there's a breadth of knowledge and information in this one that you guys will really want to take in. Okay. Have an amazing day, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your support and all your love. We love you all. Have an amazing day. Enjoy the episode. Wade Lightheart.
This changed my life. You said it. You've learned to build the body from the outside in. I'm going to teach you how to build the body from the inside out. I've seen virtually every single digestive condition, every type of inflammatory condition reversed. I felt light years better. All those things that I was suffering from in my preparation for the Mr. Universe, I now wasn't experiencing. We have this culture that's kind of like, who can be the biggest victim of
Be grateful for what you have, because what you have is 1,000 times more than the next guy.
Do I want to be spending my time wallowing in grief and woe is me until I die and never tried or did anything and played it safe all my life? We got to keep selling them a new condition and some sort of drug on it in order to make our shareholder value. This is the biggest mistake that nutritionists, that holistic experts make, is they don't make the connection between the conversion of their food into energy units, building blocks, or toxic waste.
Awesome. So, guys, we got a special treat for you today. Mr. Wade Lightheart. Wade, how are you doing? You having a good day?
I'm having a great day. Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome.
It's a real pleasure.
Wonderful. We're happy to have you on. It's so great to talk to you and hear some of your story and what you like to talk about, some wisdom and stuff. You definitely have a lot to share with people, for sure.
Totally. Yeah, you're kind of like an expert in quite a bit of areas.
Quite a bit, yeah.
we got a lot of ground to cover. So hopefully we can get through it in time. Yeah. Cool. So just for everybody that doesn't know you, if they're not super in depth in the holistic space right now, why don't you just give the people your backstory? Like, who is Wade Lightheart? How'd you get to where you are today?
Of course, I think all of us should be asking that question daily. So who am I?
That's a good one.
We're still working on it.
Right.
But for relative informational purposes, to get a background and set, I think that's always valuable. I'm a kid from Canada. I grew up in a tire paper shack, basically in the east coast of Canada. I was born in Ontario, grew up in a place called New Brunswick, and moved to the West Coast when I was there. So I was a coast-to-coast Canadian. I now live in Venice Beach, California. When I was 15 years old, I was my parents went from a small town to a no town. Basically, it was myself, my sister, and my parents. They were caretakers of a lake 5 miles up a mountain on a dirt road. It was a beautiful location, but I certainly didn't want to be there when I was 15. And some life-changing events happened.
I could imagine.
Yeah, my my sister was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease, which is cancer of the lymph nodes. And I watched as she went through the next 4 years before she died at the age of 22. She was 4 years my senior.
Oh, no.
And Yeah, that had a big impact on me. In other words, so at a young age, I realized that, oh, wait a second, your health isn't a guarantee and your life isn't a guarantee. So not everybody processes that. Also, like I processed with the kind of a naive, but we would take the 55-mile trip from the city to our house after she'd do a chemotherapy treatment. We'd have to stop the truck maybe 6-7 times on the way. She'd have to get out and vomit. And I remember thinking to myself, if you want to be healthy, like, why does she seem to be getting sicker from the treatment? This doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Money,
no kidding.
You make more money. If you want more health, you get more health. I want more wood in the garage. You chop more wood. Like it seemed counterintuitive to me. And so I'm isolated in the woods, and then my sister's diagnosed with cancer. I'm watching that. That's taken up a lot of time and energy. So everyone who's had someone who is sick understands that there's a lot of consequences, both with the individual, but also to the family.
Absolutely.
And then she gave me a bodybuilding magazine. And on the cover, it had Troy Zuclato, a blonde guy who had won Mr. California, and it had 2 pretty girls on the cover. And I thought, wow, if I had those muscles, maybe I'd get those pretty girls. Right. So I decided I needed to get these muscles because I certainly didn't look like him. I was this little skinny guy. You know, my parents are kind of like albino Smurfs. And so it's like, man, but I didn't know any better. And I was working a job. So I saved up my money, and the first thing I bought with my first paycheck was a weight set.
Oh, cool.
I built a gym in my barn, and, you know, I had sawhorses and pulleys and this old cement weight set. And I built all kind of contraptions to do exercises, tractor tires and things under it. And I started training. And
that's awesome.
Schwarzenegger books. And Arnold said something in his books on education of a bodybuilder, said, if you have hard work, self-discipline, and a positive attitude, you can achieve anything in life. And at the time, he was a multi-Mr. Universe winner, multi-Mr. Olympia. He was the highest paid.
He was the king of California.
You know, he hadn't been the governor at that time.
Right.
But he was larger in life. He was everything that you know, he's married to the Kennedy, the Maria Shriver. I mean, he was everything. He was the American dream. He was a personified American dream. And I decided that I was going to follow Arnold's path. And I was going to go to Mr. Universe, and I was going to have a supplement company that would distribute products around the world. And I would change Gold's Gym, Venice Beach, California, like pumping iron. Yep. That was my dream. And I told everybody and everywhere about my dream, and everybody thought I was crazy. And I'd go out into the barn and be 30 below, and I'd be training in a snowsuit, and my hands would freeze to the bar, and my family thought I was crazy. And I would get on the table with my soapbox and pound on the table. This is what I'm going to do. And after a number of years, I went to university, studied exercise physiology at the University of New Brunswick, which was a good basis, but it was compartmentalized. In other words, there was no real application from the information that was presented. You learned how the circulatory system worked, or the muscle system worked, or the cardiovascular system worked, but you didn't really understand how it all fit together to produce an outcome. So I was frustrated at university, and that's one point. So I started looking for mentors, basically people who were producing the results that I wanted. You know, Arnold being one of the first and early mentors, and then I just kept moving on, and eventually led to me some bodybuilding coaches, and then people in the nutritional health industry, kind of industry leaders all throughout the years. And when I was, after about 16 years, and I worked in every area of the health and fitness industry, won a bunch of championships, opened my own nutrition store, had a personal training business in Vancouver, training the who's who, and a couple things happened. I got to go to the Mr. Universe, so okay, we
nice.
That.
Right on.
And but on the way to that, and this is where our story kind of intersects, and which is really interesting, is I was feeling for those who don't understand there's getting in shape, and then there's getting in shape for a contest. And getting into a shape for a contest is not a healthy pursuit. Neither is any high performance sport, but in order to do that, you need to deplete your body of body fat. You got to kind of almost excessively train. And the idea is to strip away as much body fat as possible while retaining as much muscle as possible and proportion it over their body. And you learn a lot physiologically about running that high performance. It's like Formula One cars.
Right.
Yeah. Formula One cars is not a pursuit that everybody wants to take up, but the technology that's developed with these guys driving around the track at 200 miles an hour can be translated into regular cars. And so that was how I would translate performance parameters with my clients and my students from what I would learn in the high performance side. But like all Formula One car drivers, you sometimes you make the race and sometimes you crash and burn. And after the Mr. Universe contest in India, I gained 42 pounds of fat and water in 11 weeks. The excessive dieting in training leading up to that, the methodologies that I was using, which was in vogue in the world of bodybuilding, compromised me in such a way that it just totally destroyed my digestion. Now, leading up to that contest, a few months before, Justin, your dad, and I connected, and he said, you got to meet this guy, Dr. Michael O'Brien.
Right.
And
he was telling me you guys were in the gym and he had that bag of probiotics and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, wait, take these. You'll feel way better.
And so he kind of introduced me to this concept. And now Dr. O'Brien was talking very radically, and he had overcome cirrhosis of the liver. He had overcome cancer. He had overcome Help Bernard Jensen. So that was all documented in the book Come Alive and all this. He was a very interesting guy. And of course, he was the picture of vitality.
Right.
The guy was in his 70s or something at the time. Clear skin, sharp as a tack, had vital energy. I mean, he was just a radiant. Like I never met anybody like this, and it was inspirational for my long-term goals.
And his handshake was so powerful for a guy his age. It was nuts.
Really impressive individual. And so there was a conflict. He was talking all this stuff which made sense, but it's an abject opposition to what I've learned in this industry. So now I've got an inner conflict. I don't want to alter my life too much because I'm on a very meticulous program that I've spent 16 years to get to this world championship. So I finish off the world champions, I gain all the weight, and Dr. O'Brien's got another seminar going on, a full day, and I'm like, all right, I'm going. So I went to the next one, and then I was like, I dove deep onto some questions, and one of the ones I remember asking him, I said, what happened here? I've got Spartan discipline. I'm trained with the best coach in the world. I'm not making any mistakes on my diet. I got a background in this industry. I can produce it. Like, what's going on? Like, why did I screw myself up and gain all this weight after the contest? He says, Wade, this changed my life. He said, you've learned to build the body from the outside in. I'm going to teach you how to build the body from the inside out.
Exactly.
So I embraced his program, spent about $1,500 a month on nutritional supplementation, followed his things, switched my diet, went to completely raw food. And in 6 months, not only had I recaptured my physique, but I felt light years better. I was way healthier. I was way more energy, vitality, the aches out of my brain, the brain fog, all those things that I was suffering from in my preparation for the Mr. Universe, I now wasn't experiencing. And then from that, my business partner and I started a company in the bodybuilding world. We started coaching people around the world, and I started getting data, and then we started applying those principles with our members around the world. And after 4 years, I kind of refined the model for a high performance athletic model. So he was dealing primarily with sick people and people recovering from that. So I took all those principles, applied to myself, and then tweaked those for a performance-based model. And in 2007, I made a comeback. In a record time, I got ready for the national championships, won again. 3 months later, I was at the Worlds, and instead of placing 13th, I got 5th, which is really good for a guy with terrible genetics. And at that point, I began teaching this to the general public. I had a holistic health clinic in Vancouver, and that's led to the career and the cultivation of BiOptimize, is the company I run with my business partner Matt Gallant.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a great story.
Really great.
Yeah, that's a great story.
If it wasn't for your dad, I wouldn't be doing what I am today. So I'm always grateful for that.
Right. Well, I was just talking to my dad a little while ago, telling him that we're going to be doing the podcast with you, and he was saying, talking the same thing, like just making sure that I'm aware, how awesome it was that you took what you learned from my dad and from O'Brien, actually did something with it, because there was so many people that he introduced to Michael, similarly how he did it to you, and none of them have gone to the level and the success that you have with it and helped so many people and just paid it forward so much.
Yeah, you chose to be coachable. You chose to open up your mind.
Totally.
And now you've made such a big impact from it because you did that.
Yeah, because you took action on the stuff you learned, and so many people don't take action.
Absolutely, and that was one thing I think that was great about your dad. And at that time, I remember you, Justin. You were just like,
I was super tiny.
And you've been applying these principles right from that time. Right. And it's neat to see how things turned out. So it's cool to see the whole
the whole thing come full circle
or whatever. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's great to see the whole thing is just this real delight.
Yeah, just like how it all happened. You and my dad just happened to be training at the same gym and all that kind of stuff, and just one thing led to another, and then look where the world is now. It's just super cool.
Absolutely.
How things happen like that. So I've been meaning to ask it, because I always like to ask this to my dad's friends that knew him back in the day, because as you know, he's a pretty intense guy. He's always been a pretty intense guy, What were your first impressions of my dad? Like you see this bald dude, shaved head, arm tattoos, in a tank top, probably in jeans, back before having a shaved head was like a normal thing. You just see this dude just sweating, listening to music, just right. What were your thoughts on him when you guys first met?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was. I wasn't sure if he was on drugs, if he was crazy. But I'm able to strip away, like when I, as a coach and having coached tens of thousands of people, one of the things that you cultivate is you look at what's there that's working and what needs refined. And the one thing that I noticed is that with your dad, he had a level of skin clarity that was unusual. The radiance in his skin tone, and his physiology, what he was doing in the gym from a training standpoint was definitely unique.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was looking at, okay, normal people can't operate at that level.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether he's crazy or not, I don't know. But the performance is legit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right? That's legit. And his skin tone is legit. And it correlates with this old guy, Dr. O'Brien. They got the same kind of skin and vibrancy.
Yep.
And if you get to know Dr. O'Brien, he's a little crazy too.
Yeah.
And
no kidding.
What I've come full circle is later on is when you get charged up on life force energy, practicing the principles that you guys advocate and we advocate, and Dr. Brian taught us and everything else, is you start to oscillate and operate at a higher frequency and a higher vibrancy.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And what happens is that can make people at a lower vibration feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or one of the reasons you kind of alluded to why people don't, when they try to make that change, often they start to change and all of a sudden they can't hang out with the same people. They don't want to do the same things. Their friends at the bar drop off.
Yep.
Who they exercise with drops off. The people that they relate to, they start relating to different people with different ideas. And, you start getting involved in maybe more esoterics, changing dream states, precognitive kind of knowingness. And as you tune the instrument, the human body, as a cleaner vessel, your thoughts, your actions, how you see the world, who you hang out with, and what you do tends to virtually change.
Oh, you definitely become more intuitive.
And a lot of people can't make that jump.
Totally.
It's not comfortable.
No.
Yeah.
Especially because you take like a low energy person that just wants to sit on the couch and do stuff all the time, and then you take a hyperactive person that wants to go out in nature and hike and all that kind of stuff. Like they're just not really going to get along for the most part. Like they're all, one person's going to be like, oh, you're dragging me down. The other person could be like, calm down. You're a little bit much, you know? So just as you get healthy and your body changes and you just know what it's like to feel full of energy all the time. Yeah. Like you just naturally want to do more things and experience more stuff. And like you said, just meet new people because not everybody can hang, you know? Some people just can't hang with the cool kids. You know what I mean?
It's great too because life just becomes more beautiful and you just want to like experience all of it and you want to choose it more and you want to like get everything out of it and give more to it. People are more in a giving state than in just only a receiving state or a taking state when their frequency is higher, which is like what we need. That's like, absolutely. That would solve quite a bit of problems.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Right now, I want to talk to you about our new book coming out called The Living Diet. It's currently up for pre-order on our website. And if you get it before it launches, you can get it for $40 off. Okay. So why would you want to buy The Living Diet? You want to buy The Living Diet because it is going to teach you and show you everything you need to know in order to create a sustainable, nutrient-dense, and amazing tasting diet that you can stick to for the long time that will support your body and all of your nutritional needs, okay? Inside of The Living Diet, you are going to get copious amounts of training and knowledge and teaching on your food, what's in your food, what your food is made of, what food does in the body, protein, fat, carbs, phytochemicals, minerals, vitamins, all these different things that you get from your food that your body needs to sustain health. You will learn it all, you will understand it, and you'll be able to use it practically to create a diet that works for you. You're also going to get probably over 100 recipes that are all delicious, all very easy to make, all focused on a busy schedule, so it doesn't take a whole ton of time. They're not super complicated, and they will support you nutritionally. You will feel full and satiated, and they all taste delicious. So like you're running Bioptimizers now, you live in California, you live in the dream. Like what is your everyday lifestyle? How does Wade Lightheart stay Wade Lightheart?
Sure. Get up in the morning, do a kind of little gratitude practice. I go about my morning routine. Then I'll roll down to Gold's Gym.
Nice.
Just like I anticipated. It's a walking distance.
That's awesome.
I'll do a weight workout. Sometimes I'll go running immediately after, or cycling after the workout. Especially been doing that lately because I'm getting contest ready again.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, nice. Let's go.
Playing around with that right now.
Sweet.
And then come back. I've got a house that has, it's kind of a 4-story house here. I got a studio here that I'm in right now downstairs, which is kind of my entertainment. It's got a kitchen. It's got all my food.
Cool.
Here. And then I've got another kitchen and living room and my living space. And then, the bedroom's up top and another office. And then there's a rooftop deck where I got a rebounder.
Nice.
I got pull-up bar and power racks and, mats for jiu-jitsu.
That's where the party happens.
All kinds of stuff up on the roof and kind of enjoy the California sun. So sometimes I'll do my cardio and train up there or do my rebounding or stretching or hang out with friends. And then it's just, I keep everything in a hyper efficient level. So walk to the gym. Oh yeah. And then so then I'll work usually from now. I usually hit the work schedule at 9 and I burn through the whole day till usually somewhere between 3 and 4. And I'll go back, go down to Bulletproof. I'll do some cryotherapy, do some cellular trainer, atmospheric trainer, maybe some red light therapy, and then come back. Sometimes I have a seminar or a webinar or something to do here in the evening, or I'll go grounding on Venice Beach on the way. Usually when I walk back, I'll walk back on the beach.
Right. I mean, you got it. You can't not use it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And then come back in the evening, do some studying, keep up to date on what's happening in the areas that I'm going, and then some meditation in the evening before I go to bed, plus some PMF training, Nano-V. I also have I kind of have a biohacking. I have an infrared sauna, and then I've got a thing called a HOCAT, which is like 10 biohacks in one. You kind of get in a capsule. It's got like ozone and rife frequencies and light therapies and high intensity PEMF and just a whole.
You're just doing everything.
List of craziness. Yeah, so cool. I crank that up and live the dream. I'll do that, and it's not. I don't do all of those things.
Right.
So it's some combination of that, and then And then, and then I, do my eating and my supplements. So every day is kind of this very similar. It's very routine in some ways. And then, I entertain people here, do my videos and hang out.
Nice. Cool. Nice.
Awesome.
That's awesome. One thing I did want to say about your story, by the way, that you shared, of course, it was your own dream, like for you as an individual, but it is so beautiful how you have honored your life with health, how you have made it about health, with yourself, with other people. I'm sure that you have had some amazing testimonials from like your amazing products like at BioOptimizers, because they are very, very high quality products. Good. They're amazing. There's a reason why we we buy so many of them, because they work so great, and for our clients and stuff too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's just a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. Taking something tragic and terrible like that and turning it into a beautiful, beautiful thing that can help people and help the world, that's so cool.
That's just something that's really important for people to embrace today. Because right now we have this culture that's kind of like, who can be the biggest victim? Or the most strong, and this is not the meritocracy that built the foundation of our culture and our country. It's not about race. It's not about where you're from. It's not about the past. If let's look at. You can talk about all the things that are going on. Okay, slavery. Well, that's been going on for thousands of years. Horrible. Shouldn't have happened. It's happening in Libya right now. It's happening in Brazil. It's still happening.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen.
No.
Never.
No.
So if you look at the aspirational aspects of the British Empire, the United Kingdom, Canada, these countries, they recognize, hey, this is not a good idea to run. No. Let's move forward. That wasn't the attitude a few hundred years ago. So there's progression there. If you look at gender inequality, which is not okay. Well, birth control came in the 1960s. That changed the equation. Most women were having kids at 16, 17, 18, even 15, 14. Like that's how the world, if you look in history, that's what was going on back then. So that changed the trajectory of opportunities, and we're adjusting for the opportunities that provides for women moving forward. But the general consensus is they kind of work together. Yes, there was a whole bunch of conflicts. Yes, there was a whole bunch of tragedy. Jordan Peterson has talked about, well, how do you look at conflict? Well, most men are going to suffer from violence in their life. It's a higher rate of prison for men.
Suicide.
Higher rate of dangerous work. They tend to work long hours and they tend to live less longer. So is that fair? So
the Titanic, everybody has to leave, the women and the children tax, right?
You can look through a lens and create a story of victimhood, or you can create a story of how to rise up and be a victor.
Totally.
And it's important for us to recognize as human beings incarnated for this very small time window throughout the history of the universe. Like everything that's happened into the universe in its totality had to happen for you to exist in this moment.
Totally.
Right now. Okay.
It's like such crazy odds.
In the known world, right? Okay. Right. For that little dust particle that's flying, so the whole scientific causality, A goes to B, they hurt this person, that person did this, and all this stuff really starts to break down when you look at the big picture.
Yeah.
So here's the one thing that we know. You're born, you live, you die.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody that you ever will connect with, everybody that you will ever love, at some point, one of you are going to experience the ultimate level of pain of separation. That's the reality.
Yeah, everybody goes through stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And no matter how healthy you are, you're still the body battery is gonna run out and you'll die.
No kidding. At some point.
So that's the underlying fear behind all of it. So and that can be a macabre kind of thought, or, this is really dark and stuff, but it shouldn't be. It should be more like, okay, I have a very limited time.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Do I want to be spending my time wallowing in grief and woe is me and why did this happen and blah, 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 blah.
Totally.
Until I die and sit and never tried or did anything and played it safe all my life? Or do I want to be the type of person that says, you know what? This sucks. What can I make out of it?
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
And turn the the tragedies in life, which are going to happen to everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The boogeyman is coming, folks. You cannot hide from sickness, disease, old age, death. They're all coming for all us. I can't believe like I'm 50 now. Like
Right.
it seems like just yesterday, you know, I'm in my 20s. I'm with your dad. You're a little guy.
Exactly.
Now you're a grown man. You're getting married. Like, it's like, how did that happen?
Totally.
Like, goes
You
like
know,
this.
no kidding.
Goes
Oh,
like
it's
this.
moving so fast.
And so by understanding those things, you don't have time to wallow in the challenge and whatever it is. You see that, and I've come to believe, or this is a belief that I've incorporated, is the challenges that you're given in life are an invitation from divinity to find out your unique strengths and capabilities, which are often far beyond what you might have imagined or someone told you.
That's a tweet right there. That's a headline. That's a quote and a half.
Someone write that down.
Yeah, quick, exactly. You should trademark that. Somebody's gonna steal it. That's exactly it. You know, and like it's so awesome that you said that, because we always like to hear other people that talk about similar things that we do. You know, just to kind of emphasize, like, we're not the only ones that say this. You know, and it's like one of the things that we talk about all the time is like you said, everybody goes through stuff. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's going to experience tragedy, pain, suffering, all those things. Like, it's just a part of the world we live in, you know? But like, perspective is how you beat all that, because you can go through the worst thing in the world, like losing your sister at a young age. That is absolutely terrible. Wish that upon nobody in the world, you know? But there's people that have had their entire families massacred. There's people that have been born without arms and legs, and they have no eyes, or they have some kind of brain abnormality, you know, and they spend their entire life and they're just constant pain, right? Like, somebody's always had it worse than you, you know, like, not negating anybody's problems or suffering or anything. No. But like, if you can speak, if you got 10 functioning fingers, if you have eyes, if you have the ability to work or have fun with your family and enjoy your loved ones and stuff, like, it can get so much worse. So just be grateful for what you have, because what you have is 1,000 times more than the next guy, right? And like, especially people in this part of the world, you know, we're just so spoiled with everything. Like, we got Wi-Fi, running water, all that kind of stuff.
If you're alive, there's hope.
Like think about how many women for the last 10,000 years wish they could have taken a shower, but they didn't. That shower hadn't been invented yet, you know? So like, people just gotta have some perspective and just realize, like, life is beautiful. No matter how much pain you go through, you can always change it.
Or there's marauders in the next village.
Exactly.
Kill you, and then, you know, like, we've become so soft, and
totally
we've exchanged comfort for happiness. Right. Comfort is not happiness.
No, it's not.
It's comfort.
Totally.
Yeah.
In itself, there's almost an inherent sickness in it. It's like sugar. It's like fast money. It's like a drug hit that changes your state. All of those things, they create that immediate change, that immediate response.
Absolutely.
But it chips away at the innate joy that is effervescent in that person who pursues their health and their vitality whole heart.
Totally.
And meaning in their life.
Totally.
What is the meaning of my life? And the beauty of that is you get to determine what that is. You get to determine what the meaning is in your life.
Absolutely.
You get to determine the meaning in your life.
Absolutely.
And that meaning can evolve as you go through the stages of life.
Right. Absolutely.
So what do you think is the biggest or like best testimonial, or I guess your favorite testimonial from, you know, people like using your products, working with you, that sort of thing? At least your favorite. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of favorites, a lot of great testimonials, but what would you say is like one that really comes to mind for you?
It's a tough
one. I know
it is.
Worked with a lot of people.
We read the testimonials every week on our team call.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So we have a company that's all over the world. We get,
Yep.
Or a recent one. There you go. That might be a little bit easier.
Well, I can say this. So I had to get a minor surgery recently, and it was not a big deal. It was just a tiny thing that had to be corrected, which was my first surgery in my life. So that's fine. And that's what we have acute therapy for. So
right.
I was, so I'm at this clinic in Beverly Hills with my, it's a high-end plastic surgeon who's going to engage in this surgery. And I'm in this kind of like Jesus Christ pose or something. I'm on this machine. They're going to do a surgery here on my chest. I was like, oh God. And, they're about to give me the general anesthesia. It's the first time I've ever had that before. Mm-hmm. And so they're kind of talking you through it. I'm like, oh, well, is this like going to be it? It's like a sci-fi movie. And so they're kind of alleviating some of that. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's it, well, I'll just say goodnight to everybody and that's it. Mm-hmm. And the clinic, which is a really high-end clinic that deals with anti-aging, plastic surgery, all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Guy's talking to me and he's like, hey, got a cool story for you. So they advocate Masszymes and our magnesium products because they've accelerated the healing of all their patients exponentially. Mm-hmm. He's a biohacking doctor and all this stuff. It's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's an awesome guy.
That's super cool.
He's into all that stuff.
Nice. As it should be.
He's combining surgery and preliminary stuff that he's explaining. So he's like, yeah, he said, I want to tell you before you go for your operation. He said, I got a great story. One of our clients came in and she had to get some surgery. So we put her on all your products and everything. And we follow up, 3 months, 6 months, all that stuff. And she comes in at 6 months and says to him, she goes, wow. She goes, I got to tell you, I'm really happy about the surgery. That worked out great. But you know what I'm even more happy about? He goes, since I've been using Masszymes and this magnesium product, my rheumatoid arthritis, which plagued me for years, has been gone. And I stopped taking them to see if that was the case. And it started to come back and I went back on it and it completely went away. So
look at that.
Thank you for that. So I'm like, just before, and then,
that's super cool.
And the general sees it went out and I'm out. So I'm like,
that's amazing, Doc.
This was great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that was cool. That was kind of a cool one. That wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
So and I've completely recovered in absolutely record time.
Of course.
And photo interacted. And they're like, dude, you're like Wolverine or something.
Absolutely.
And it's like to be part of the power of Wolverine.
That's super cool. That's like a perfect segue to my next question because it's one of the things that we are huge advocates for is it's totally what we've been talking about the whole time. Like people just have no idea what their potential is, So on that note about like people healing fast and all that kind of stuff, what are some things that you've seen with your eyes that just what the body is capable of? Because there's just so many people that have been suffering with a chronic condition or they've had this problem for so long. And they just so much of our job anyway, when we're working with a new client or anything, it's like a lot of it in the beginning, it's just giving them hope, because they've been told no, and this is never going to go away. And you're going to be dealing with this forever for so many people that are experts in their area, obviously just missing something, So like, what are some things that you can talk about? Like just the potential of the body that you've seen, like real world that people can get some hope from.
I've seen virtually every single, digestive condition that I've ever heard of, people make complete recoveries. The whole
That's amazing.
With a combination of using the right supplementation and changes in their
right.
Everything that you can think of, all of the big ones. I would never like to make claims, but everything that you've ever heard of, I've seen that be reversed. I've seen virtually every type of inflammatory condition reversed.
Right.
Last year we had a year and a half ago, we had an executive that came on as a private client. I don't take private clients every time, but he convinced us to do so. And pays us a ridiculous amount of money to do that. And, but he's a very interesting person.
Okay. So at least it was worth it that way.
You get a cool story out of it.
Yeah.
But we get ready to start with him and he goes, and it's a few days before Christmas. He's on the ski trip and he falls down, shatters his leg. He has, he goes in and gets the top surgeon in Los Angeles. The guy works on the Lakers and all this sort of stuff. And the guy's like, this is what's going to happen. We can put this all back together. It was it was like the worst shattering of a leg you could get. It was really bad. And he's like, it's going to be at least 6 months before you're walking, probably a year before you're really training on it.
Right.
That would be
that's pretty standard for a leg injury.
Pretty standard. Yeah. It was really, and he was depressed because he wanted to make this next step and jump into his physical self, and because his next year he was going to turn 50.
Right.
Wanted to really kind of get that and reverse that trend. We put him on the super protocol and he followed it. And he was walking in a few months. He was training, he trained his upper body through the surgery and all that stuff. We worked around it. We did everything that we could. We put all the biohackers, we did everything on his program. And a year after he had shattered his leg, he was in the best physical condition he's ever been in his entire life.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Probably at least 12, maybe 15 years younger.
Wow.
And than his age,
Yep.
would say his chronological age.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see what's possible when someone had a great mindset. Now, he had a great mindset.
Yeah.
Even in his worst moments, he's like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to
That's such a huge part of it. So big.
And it's why he had success in other areas in life. And so that's why that's why one of the reasons why we worked with him, because I was impressed with his mental.
Yeah, his attitude.
Right. You can have all the best stuff. You can have all this. You really need that why factor
Definitely
wrapped up in the willingness to do it.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So that was a good one.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's amazing.
We also had I can remember, there's a senior citizen lady texted me. She had all these digestive conditions, was falling apart. And she's like, she texted us and all her health conditions went away, and she got back and started doing things that she hadn't done in decades.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great one. The little old ladies.
Yeah.
All of those, that's really
So
great.
Totally.
And, and then all the biohackers, I guess, that advocate our products, they've got access to anybody.
Right.
And they've all reported improved recovery,
Totally.
performance, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always nice. Company's gotten fairly large. And,
sounds like it.
but it's
It's bigger than a mom and pop shop,
right? Yeah. That's how we started out. I mean, Matt and I didn't pay ourselves for over a decade.
Really?
Wow. That's quite the sacrifice.
That just goes to show the intent behind the company.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's super, because you never hear that.
No, never.
People get into business to make money, right? Like that's what it's for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We're always mission centric, not margin
Yes,
centric.
Totally.
definitely.
And so we make the best products that you can.
Yep.
And we teach people how to use them. And if they don't work to the promise, we just give them their money back.
Yeah,
Right.
say Libby.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
at least for me anyway.
The lowest refund rate in the industry.
Yeah.
Because they work.
Totally. Well, because you guys put the money into the product, not into the marketing or the business model or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys invest in the end result of the customer, not acquiring the most amount of customers.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge reason why we're such a big advocates for you guys. And like we take all your stuff. Like it's amazing.
All of our clients
I've
do,
yet to take a bad Bioptimizer
Yeah,
supplement.
seriously.
So far,
You guys don't make bad products.
Exactly. So you've worked with hundreds of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to come in here and talk to y'all for a second about our online private community called Warrior Nation. Warrior Nation is a platform that we are building full of like-minded people just like you and just like me. People that are passionate about their health and their longevity. People that are passionate about success and accumulating wealth and creating a good life for themselves and their loved ones. Ultimately, people that just want to leave the world a better place than how it was when they showed up. So if that sounds like you, then listen up. Think of Warrior Nation like our own private Facebook group, except it's not on Facebook, it's not on Twitter, it's not on Instagram, it's not on any of these big platforms where we have to worry about influence and censorship and outside control from big tech or big social. It's a place where we can share with you guys the truth and the cold, hard things that you need to hear and you need to know in order to make your life better. All right. Inside of Warrior Nation, you're going to get direct access to myself and our whole coaching team, where we can help you answer your questions, give you advice, give you real practical support that'll make your life better. You're going to get access to multiple live events a week, ranging on different topics from health and nutrition and exercise and detox to harder stuff like money and life and relationships. Okay. You're going to get access to tons and tons and tons of exclusive content that you will not see anywhere else. documentaries, articles, videos, posts, things like that will not be put anywhere outside of Warrior Nation that are only for our community members. If this sounds like something that would help you and would make your life better, then look down into the description below, click on the link, it says Warrior Nation, and you can make an account, fill out a form, and somebody on our team is going to be happy to take a look at it and approve you or disapprove you, depending on your answers. One of your main expertise is in the gut, is in digestive stuff, just the whole GI tract. Like that's your guys' main bread and butter, right? What out of all your decades at this point of experience and all the people you've worked with, you got a pretty good basis of knowledge. What can you say to anybody listening if they have a gut issue or they have their health being affected poorly because of something related to their gut? What can you share? What advice do you have for anybody, how they can start, how they can do some things? What awesome superfood or crazy workout routine or whatever? Like, what are some things that the average person can do if they've been dealing with a problem, they have no hope about getting it fixed, and they really want their health back?
Great question. Well, a couple of things. Technology has changed a lot, and I think that's transformed both how quickly we can get results and how we specify for individual variants. There's a lot of confusion out there. What's the best diet? What's the best
Yeah.
What's the best exercise?
Totally.
Well, you can take a DNA test. For example, I like using the DNA company. I think it's a great company. It's a Canadian guys.
Cool. Nice.
And
Shout out Canada.
Kashif is one of the guys. Yeah. And so, for example, they can look at your genetics. They can look at predispositions for how well you detoxify your gut. Mm-hmm. They can look at predispositions for heart disease. They can look at predispositions for neurotransmitter imbalance and tell you stuff that only you would know about yourself by looking at your genetics and how you process things. So that's powerful.
Definitely.
And, that's great because you can stop wasting a lot of time. So how you go about your diet, how you apply what enzymes might be work, all that stuff. So from all that information that we gathered on ourselves and our clients, we've broken things down into categories and specificity for individual variants.
Right.
What do I mean by that? Well, for example, we have a book coming out next year. We got a deal with Hay House, who is our publishing partner, which is my favorite book company in the world. We have 3 different companies. We got to go with Hay House, so I was excited about that.
Nice.
And the premise of that book is actually creating the grand universal theory between the variances in diets. The reason why some person might do better on a paleo diet or a plant-based diet or ketogenic diet is oftentimes because the impairment of enzymatic pathways inside the body. The other thing is what type of probiotics they have present in the body or not present, what type of contaminatory agents, their ability to produce hydrochloric acid, neurotransmitter imbalances, and metal toxicity. All of these are going to impact how you bring nutrients into the body. And for people who don't understand this, it's a single canal from your mouth to your body.
Yeah,
totally.
And so you eat food, but the food is not in your body. It's in the tube.
Yep. Absolutely.
That has to go through a conversion process.
Yep.
So you need enzymes to break it down.
And there's more to digestion than just your stomach.
Yeah.
That's right. Hydrochloric acid comes in 30 to 60 minutes in.
Yep.
That changes the pH, disinfects as well.
Totally.
And you buffer that with minerals. And then you get into the intestinal tract, and then the various types of probiotics are going to further break down and convert what you eat into either energy units or building blocks.
Yep.
And then
absolutely
any toxins or undigested foods could be picked up by bad bacteria, parasites, whatever. Organisms that are not going to produce health and vitality in the body. They're going to be counteractive to those goals. And if you don't understand this, and this is the biggest mistake that nutritionists make, that holistic experts make, is they don't make the connection between the conversion of their food into energy units, building blocks, or toxic waste.
Yeah.
And we're at a stage in society that ignorance has resulted in a massive industry of sickness and pharmaceutical and surgical interventions in order to deal with that. Now, I think there's a room for pharmaceutical and nutrition or surgical things. I don't want to throw all of that in the bath.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe doctors and nurses.
Totally.
But what happened, it became so successful in its early years that government lobbyists, government policy, the integration within our society, and the outsourcing of our health to agencies who are built on a business model of, we got to keep selling them a new condition and some sort of drug on it in order to make our shareholder value. And to do that, we'll maintain lobbyists in the group and we'll condemn other businesses that are conflicted to our business model through lobbyists and government regulation, which has happened extensively,
Totally.
in Canada particularly. It limits people to natural, healthy products. There is a negative smear campaign permeating through all of the media, a large number of media channels, which are discrediting people like yourselves because you're practicing things that have worked health-wise for generations.
Totally.
Of years.
Totally. The whole time.
In a technological
The whole time.
world. And so, so we're getting whitewashed.
Right.
We're getting whitewashed by technology.
Totally.
And this whole thing of evidence-based, which makes me laugh, because evidence, if you really look at it, is based on a set of agreed upon assumptions by a certain group of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
So what is, and that evidence is changing. And the last couple of years is a great example of that with all the pandemic stuff, what happened worldwide.
Right.
Look how much the crazies, the conspiracy theorists, all this stuff actually turned out to be right. Because it's those people oftentimes were practicing sound principles that were clear of thought, clear of mind, clear of body, that could see, hey, that doesn't make sense, what's being propagated, and we don't know the potential outcomes of it.
Really?
And the likelihood that there are things that we don't know is significant.
Yeah.
And sure enough, here we are 2 years later after wrecking the economy, wrecking the world, destroying people's lives, all that sort of stuff. And so, it turned out the crazies were actually right.
Totally. Well, yeah. Stay indoors. Don't get sunshine.
Yeah. Don't have any
Don't be
social
around
interaction.
people.
Don't do anything,
Don't do anything
good for
in the
you.
environment. Don't eat healthy. Just get McDonald's and DoorDash. You're good.
Yeah. So you're closing down gyms and health food stores, and you're keeping fast food companies and
I never saw one close down McDonald's
distribution
the entire time. Never one.
So,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So all you have to do is, there's an old saying, I think in the Bible, it says, by the fruits of their labor, ye shall know them.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean? Well, oftentimes early on, you're not able to tell if a policy was outright malicious or it was just a product of ignorance. Generally, I think it's a combination of the two. And the biggest thing that's hard for people to admit is when they're wrong.
Especially today's generation.
Yeah. So humility is the pathway to wisdom. I don't know.
Huge.
I don't know if this works, but tell you what, I'm going to try it. I'm going to run an experiment. I'm going to test it and see if it works. That's what I applied to get involved with Dr. Brodnick. Everything he said was counter to what I had heard and experienced for decades.
Totally. And this was also like decades ago, back before any of this was any kind of mainstream anything.
Was talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about this.
Nobody.
He was a kook.
Totally.
He was a kook in a nice suit with gator shoes.
Ended up saving
alligator shoes.
lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and not only that, his legacy has permeated a variety of luminaries in the industry that is now transformed. And virtually everybody that's in the high performance side understands that they got to sort out their digestion.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. That's huge. So what are some things, like what are some practical steps, some changes in the diet, some change in the daily routine, some lifestyle alterations they can do that they can just take from where they're at now and they can get to where they want to be?
Number one, fix your digestion. Enzymes, hydrochloric acid, probiotics. It's virtually impossible to get the kind of levels that we were getting 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Totally.
So sad.
500 years ago.
Crazy.
We were compromised. Also, the more that you're able to leverage that, the faster you'll detox, the faster you'll metabolize food.
Totally.
And it will also improve your food selection process over time. Second thing, eat food that it grows and replicates.
Right.
If it comes, if you can't put it in the ground and it grows, or probably not that good for you.
Probably not.
If it doesn't replicate itself, basically, if it can't create more of itself, it's probably not a good thing to be doing. And the more process that you get, the more downstream that you come.
Big time.
Or the less value you're able to extract from something. The second thing is make hydration, make it a practice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Make hydration a practice. Most people that we've tested have been chronically dehydrated. So if they're drinking and get the freshest, purest water that you possibly can. So I have an awesome health formula I give away on our site. It's basically a systematized format of how you spend your time, energy, money. So air, water, and exercise, those three things are non-negotiable.
Right.
You go a long way on those.
Totally.
And what type of exercise? Well, some people are more predisposed for aerobic. Some are more predisposed for anaerobic.
Right.
And those are the different frameworks of people and what they might need for best. Everybody needs a certain amount of each, a little bit of each, but you're going to need more in one area than another. And you want to be able to find a way to incorporate those into your life.
Totally.
Muscle mass is associated with longevity.
Huge.
Okay. It's one of the big determinants. It's a big determinant. Also quality of life as you age. And I think that's where the correlation that you tend not to have the falls, you tend to have a better immune system. You tend to exercise more and have that. And then endurance, cardiovascular health is another predisposition. So you want to get to the top 2.5 percentile in your cardiovascular capability. And that's not that difficult to do. It's not like bodybuilder level.
Just look at the competition.
High performance cyclists. You just want to get to the upper 2.5%. So you want to look at that for your cardiovascular, your lean body mass, your bone density, right? And what was the other one I was going to say? Lost it. Those three parameters. Body fat percentage, bone. Body fat percentage, bone density, cardiovascular, and muscle mass. That's right. So you can get all that done. You can do a DEXA scan. You get the lean body mass, the body fat, and the bone side. You can do a 12-minute VO2 testing parameter that you can punch in online. And then you can get a set of fat calipers that you can test and correlate that online in a few minutes. So the whole thing will cost you a few $100. And you're going to have a clear parameters of where you are in the world on those things. And then from there, you can start drill downing into specifics.
Totally.
So if you have a predisposition for cardiovascular disease, you'll want to supplement. If you have a predisposition so I'll give you specifics on my own self. And why I'm saying myself is because I'm intimately aware of these things. And I have no problem sharing this.
It's kind of your job.
Yeah.
You got to do
Some
it.
version of every person. So number one, I don't possess the gene to detox my guts. It doesn't even exist. Well, guess what? That's why I got into trouble after the Mr. Universe contest, gained all that weight and got to Dr. O'Brien because my body didn't detox my gut. Some people can eat worse and detox better. So you go, well, how does that person do it? Well, they got different genes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to start a digestive health company. Well, I also have the gene that doesn't do well for how your arteries work, which is where arterial disease. I have a whole lot of family members of it. So I supplement around that. I don't do well metabolizing fats. So I keep my fat intake relatively low. My business partner metabolizes fats really well, can't handle carbohydrates. So we fought for 10 years because he wanted more high fat. I was like, I can't do that. Low fat and high carbohydrate. We argued about it, and then we realized, it's genetics. I have the genes that are more likely to lead to cognitive impairment. So we developed a cognitive enhancement company, Newtopia, which is a sub-brand of ours. So So for me, I'll go build a company around my problems.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's an opportunity here.
Totally.
And so we've customized those models based on the information that we get, and then we allocate the solutions for them nutritionally, supplemental wise, and lifestyle wise. And so we're entering into an age where I do believe that we can live healthily, certainly as a centurion. Can we extend our lives?
I mean, that's not unreasonable.
No.
Totally.
But I think, there's lots of people who make it to 100. I had 4 people on my street. In fact, one of them, my mom was going to see this week. She's 104 years old.
Wow.
Totally.
That's so cool.
Absolutely.
On my street.
That's awesome.
So I was experienced around those people, and there's a social component to it, but there's a physical health side of it as well. And we can now offset the things that take you out early on, and then maintain the quality of life through a good exercise routine that keeps you at that higher end level, and increase the chances and likelihood that you can live long and live strong. And
right.
That's what's changed in the last 20 years from when I got started.
Totally. Well, yeah, nobody was talking about that before. They were just, whatever, 80, 90, you golden years and you're good. But like things like with
get to 65 and retire.
Yeah, right?
Exactly. But just take a look at the blue zones, for example. There's pockets all around the world that people live a very long time with very, very little sickness, and it's not an uncommon thing for them, but they just don't live the way that we do over here.
Yeah. Big difference there for sure. It's really unfortunate too how polluted and tainted North America in particular has become, in terms of our health, of our agriculture, of our air, our water, etc. And we have to know about these dangers. We have to be aware of these toxins, these things that can really get in the way of our longevity. Other than wise, we're going to just have a lot of issues build up, and we're not going to be able to just escape them without knowing how to, how to rid the body of all these things, how to supplement, how to take care of ourselves. We have to be aware of these dangers.
Ignorance is not bliss. No. It's not. Ignorance leads to pain and suffering every single time.
The wages of sin is death.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
If you look at the Greek terminology from which sin emerged from, it was an errant shot in archery.
Oh, interesting.
So cosine tangent, that you were erring outside of the target. You were missing the target.
Right.
The real nature of sin is that you've missed the target in your objectives or your practices in life.
Right.
And we've moved away from, those practices. Again, we exchange convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Convenience and comfort. But now the consequences have come back. So herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, fertilized agriculture, which increased external yields but decreased the vitality components of the food that we're eating, plus these chemicals that disrupt our natural digestive process, have all conspired together so that now, I'll give you some US data. On any given day in the United States, 100 million people suffer from a digestive condition. 12% of these people, the emergency hospital visits are related to gastrointestinal issues. Mm-hmm. The 3 big killers, heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, all have roots in our dietary practices, according to the Surgeon General. And the life expectancy, according to the New England Journal of Medicine by Professor Oshansky, demonstrated that, and this was during the Bush administration a long time ago, that the life expectancy was going to diminish, and it now has been going down for the last few years due to drug abuse or all these sort of things that have fentanyl abuse. But the disability adjusted life expectancy went down to 60. So even though we're expected to live 80 years, the last quarter of our life is going to be compromised to a disability, many of which were preventable by our lifestyles. And then now that is coming in on the insurance models. So if you look at insurance mortality tables, in the last 2 years, we've had, I think it was the CDC had reported, the big insurance company, Lincoln Insurance Company, said that we've had a 40% increase in the rate of mortality from people aged from 20 to 60.
It's a gargantuan number.
So if you look at all that stuff, I mean, this is all causes mortality, I think is, so without trip over any wires of the current situation we have, let's look at all causes mortality. And why is there such a spike in the last 2 years? It is because of the intervention of external authorities trying to compromise common sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good way of putting it.
That's another tweet.
Yeah. So what's great about and the suffering is real.
Yeah.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I always say there's no conspiracies, but there's no coincidences either.
Yeah.
So there is a correlation between what we've done in the last couple of years, as proven by science, by data, by real data.
Yes.
Because there's an economic thing to go with that. You know, insurance companies have very clear mortality tables.
Yep.
Totally. It's outside of the medical industry. It's outside of the health industry. It's outside of the advocate. It's just the straight numbers. Something we've done in the last couple of years has altered the data dramatically. And they've been keeping these tables for, well, it's in the hundreds of years now. So what happened? Well, start diving into it. And it is a disruption in the things that produce health.
Totally.
Good community, good food practices, a sense of well-being,
security
and,
in so many people, you know, just the excess
absolutely.
stress and the rise and
Fear.
abuse of so many different kinds, just everybody being so bottled up on each other, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that happen when you don't go out and just simply get fresh air, let alone all the other things that can happen. It's crazy. So like, I know that you're not supposed to pick favorites, and like that Bioptimizers and all your companies are kind of like your babies, your projects, right? But you got to have like, do you have a favorite supplement you guys make? Like one that you just have like a special place in your heart compared to the rest of them?
Well, you know, Masszymes, we started that product. It was our first enzyme product that we made 18 years ago.
Wow.
Cool.
And it's still one of our best-selling products. So
Yeah.
the whole company was founded on that. So it's always got a special place in our hearts. Magnesium breakthrough that we came out recently.
So good.
A couple of years ago.
Oh my God.
Has
Necessary.
just transformed everything.
Totally. Totally.
We knew that people were magnesium deficient from the soil stuff
Yep.
and all those things.
Yeah.
We knew that single magnesiums or different strains of magnesiums weren't effective. We built a superior product. And the testimonials and the results that came in out of that were awesome.
Yes, totally.
I think P3OM.
So good.
I'm incredible.
Oh, man.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first patented probiotic that really kind of got caught storm in the market. And we got that originally from Dr. O'Brien and went through all the issue. And we actually now have that for ourselves.
Yep,
and
totally.
I think we're one of the only companies that actually have that. That led to a couple things. Number one, it's a killer probiotic.
It's incredible.
Honestly, I think that your Masszymes, the magnesium and the P3OM, probably hands down, at least the ones that I've ever heard of, the single best versions of those products on the market to date.
Definitely.
Like no, not even a contest, not even a question.
And here's the exciting part. And this is the news flash. So we got to a state of, where the company grew to a point where we had more money to invest in research and facilities. And the universe cooked up a great relationship with Birch International University in Croatia. So we now have 13 PhDs and master students who are experts in microbiome.
Oh, wow.
Who are helping us build out the next generation of enzymes and probiotics. And we have come up with some breakthroughs which are coming out soon. We're going to revolutionize the entire industry.
That is amazing.
Wow.
And we will be we're going to patents. I can't talk about them too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So P3M was the first patented probiotic that I got exposed to.
Right.
And that is that you could create conditions that could mutate a strain of bacteria that then it would have these other capabilities.
Yep.
We can't even tell what they are, but they are on the website if they want to look up.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now we're going to be able to get these new patents for our new breakthroughs and hit the next generation. And we're going to infiltrate the health community, the medical community, because it's the data that they require to start making these transitions. And I have a lot of doctors who have private practices and nutritionists and chiropractors and Chinese medicine practitioners and plastic surgeons for Pete's sake.
Right.
People who are cross-pollinated between Western medicine and Eastern medicine have also come to the same conclusions, and they're looking to have supportive research to back what they have experienced, because that's what they require in their field.
Yeah, they need it.
License. We are going to smash through that barrier.
That is so exciting.
That's so great.
I'm so pumped about that.
That's super cool.
Wow, that's amazing.
So by next year, we got a book coming out. These new breakthrough products are going to be integrated, and we're going to get some patents on them. And boy, oh boy, and because we're seeing what they do under the lab conditions, and it's truly extraordinary.
That's so cool. That's so huge.
Absolutely. Well, Justin, this man needs to be kept safe, because he's out here trying to save the world and like help so many people, especially, of course, like you said, we've seen like more people become sick. So it's very important. You're very needed. So thank you for your service.
There's never been a better time to have answers for health ever. It's never been more needed.
This is the time to become healthy. It's time to start now.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Wade.
Thank you,
was
Wade.
amazing.
This
it was
super
great
fun
to hear your story, like what you've overcome, your passion behind this, helping people, some of the stories, some intel on what you're doing, what you're working on, and just
big
your
things coming down the
amazing
pipeline.
products.
That's cool.
Yeah, because it's so necessary, and people need to hear this. They need to know more about you and your great company and everything. It's so
just
important.
Their potential. They need to know their options, so they know what their potential is.
Exactly.
So just go ahead.
You can come back from horrible things
totally
over and over. And kudos to you guys too, because it's so exciting for me to see you guys. Justin, you were kind of born into this.
I was kind of born into it for sure,
which is extraordinary. And Elle, you're obviously a vibrant young woman, and to see both of you kind of starting your journey in this field. It's exciting for me because, as you get older, you get really clear. You can see things, the pathway of the younger generation. And there's a younger generation like you guys that are there's a certain small percentage of you that are the trailblazers that have, learned these things. And they will serve you and many, many more people than probably I'll ever serve in my life, just the way technology is and the way the world is. And so stay with that.
Absolutely.
Spreading the message.
Absolutely.
You guys are, it's just, I can't tell you how good it makes me feel seeing
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
So I was so happy to come on the podcast today. It's like, wow.
Oh yeah, right. It's so much fun. It was so much fun. And it was incredibly valuable. Like I don't think there's anybody that can listen to this and not get something useful out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the whole point.
This is life-changing information.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and looking more into it too, right? Like seeking truth. Yeah.
Totally. You got to do it. Like the answers are out there. We live in the modern age. You can do it with a Google search. You can figure out pretty much anything out that you want to.
Maybe not Google. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They're a little unreliable. But the information's there. The answers are there. And as long as you have the desire and you want it bad enough, you'll find what you need to do. That's it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Totally. Awesome. Thank you, Wade. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for making this happen. And it was just super fun having you here.
Absolutely.
Look forward to having you on again soon.
Yes.
You bet. Anytime, guys.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. All right.
Have a great day.
We hope you have a great day. Thank you so much again.